Right, paranoid. Very, very horribly paranoid. I was and am. But why will you conclude that I am crazy? The illness had keened my instincts, not decimated, not weakened them. I heard all from the center of the universe to the farthest clutches of space. How then am I crazy? Behold, and realize how calm, how sane, I will tell you the whole event. Up until that day, I had been living a perfectly normal life. I had loved the Unk. He had never wronged me. He had never crashed out on me. For his luck, I had no desire. It was the Jugg. Yes, the massive jugular. Whenever I hear its pulse, I convulse in pain. And so, every night, at midnight, I walked up the stairs to the couch where he slept. I cautiously opened my flashlight and shone it at his pulsing jugular. At the sight of it, I explode with anger, but contain it, for I had to be patient. I did this for many a night to come. Upon the 8th night, I continued with my usual routine, except this time, I got caught lacking. I had tripped on my way up the stairs and had awoken Unk.
Who is it? The Juggernaut?
But I had not to fear, for the room was pitch black. For the next 5 hours, I slowly crept closer to the couch where the old man sat upright, looking into the dark. Suddenly, the man let out a groan, not of sleepiness, but of terror. I could feel the fear of Unk. I imagined his mind going through all the excuses of whatever he had just heard. It was merely the wind,
Hopefully it was just the wind.
or it could have been just a rat.
Or maybe it was just a rat.
Of course, Unk knew none of this was true, for he felt death creep closer towards him. I felt that he had not calmed down, so I turned on the flashlight and shone it towards his neck. That was when I noticed the protruding jugular. That was when the blood flowing through Unk's veins increased and the jugular grew ever so large. For a moment, I considered taking action, but I refrained from my urges. I controlled myself for a bit longer, but the jugular was irresistible. If I did not cut it now, it would surely continue to grow. The jugular grew larger, I say. More blood flowed at every moment. Do you perceive me as crazy? With a roar of Spartan rage, I jumped Unk. I unleashed the beast as I drew a box cutter from my pocket. I viciously fought with Unk with an intent to end his miserable life.
Go.
In an instant, it was over. I had slit the throat of Unk. I calmly observed as his jugular shrank in size, eventually disappearing. To make sure the deed was done, I placed my fingers onto the spot of the jugular. The blood had stopped flowing. Unk was dead. I took the necessary steps to hide the corpse. I dragged his body down the stairs. I took out a crate and threw his body inside. I dumped acid inside of the crate to dissolve his body. I then carefully took out the acid and took out the remains of Unk. I threw his remains in a bush as I had no respect for him. Nobody, not even Sherlock Holmes, could know of my doings. Suddenly, I heard a knock at the door. It was the Juggernaut's. The Juggernaut had come to look for his boss. It was my Unk.
Here for Unk.
He stated that
Why?
Unk had not been answering his
He hasn't been
calls
answering
and
his
that he
calls.
urgently
Alright,
needed
come
to
in.
find him.
Unk
I
went to
stated
Egypt
that
to buy
Unk
some
had gone
property.
to Egypt to buy some property.
He's on the plane.
His phone was not working as he was on the plane. He did not fully believe me, so I led him to Unk's room. He searched the room for any signs of Unk, and he concluded that Unk had
Unk
indeed
disappeared.
left.
You want some water?
I invited the Juggernaut to have some water and food before he left. I prepared his food and walked outside to greet him. We started to talk.
properties in Egypt? Well, they...
Before I knew it,
Dude, what are you
it had been an hour. I had been talking the entire time, except my mind was elsewhere. My ears picked up a slow and steady sound. No, wait, it was a rhythm. This rhythm annoyed me, as did the blood pumping through the jugular of my unk. I felt my blood run cold. How could it be? This can't be happening. I had killed the unk. I had melted his entire body.
Instead of showering, we should just lay down in bed all day.
The noise grew and crescendoed as I talked quicker and quicker and quicker.
You're so stupid.
I stopped and started pacing back and forth and back and forth again, and again. The juggernaut continued yapping as if I were invisible. No way. It couldn't be. He had known all along. How? How could he possibly have known? Unk! He had known! He set me up! I had to escape! Monster! Wait no longer! Here it is! The pumping of his repulsive jugular! Ah!
Ow.